I'm David Pardo. I run the OU's Torah initiatives, and I am on a quest for the perfect seder. Join me, and we're going to find out how to master the Maggid with the Maggid of the Masters. Welcome back. Today, we get to talk to Rabbi Shalom Rosner. Rabbi Rosner is a Ram at KVY. He's the senior Rav of Nofei HaShemesh in Eretz Yisrael. And for the past 8+ years, he's given one of the most popular English language Daf Yomi shiurim in the world through OU Torah and then through All Daf. Now, unfortunately, visiting him was beyond the budget scope of this particular project. So we are going to meet him. We are going to travel together to my basement in order to take a Zoom call. Come along and please pardon the mess. Rabbi Rosner, thank you so much. I have this image of a Rosh Yeshiva type seder. Looks like this. There's an old joke. A guy goes into a comedy club and he says, someone on the mic says 36, and everyone laughs, and he's like, what's going on here? And the guy says, oh, this is for professional comedians. So everyone already knows all the jokes. You just say the number and they know. And he gets to the front and he says, I'm going to try this. I'm 20, and no one laughs. And he's like, what did I do wrong? He says, it's really all about the delivery. So I have this terrible notion. I know it's terrible, but I have this notion that you go to a Rosh Yeshiva seder and someone says, okay, halachmania. Okay, the Beis Levi. What a Beis Levi. Okay, weiter. But can you tell me what it looks like, what it feels like at your seder? How do you keep people engaged? Is it new every year? Is it different? How do you prepare?
I don't know, maybe in great Rosh Yeshiva's houses, they say the Chassam Sofer, the first time that his son-in-law was going to be at the seder with him, they said, you can't look at the shver at the seder. You can't look at the Chassam Sofer. He's like, what are you talking about? He says, you can't look at the shver at the seder. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So he comes, the night the Chassam Sofer goes into a study before the seder, he comes out in his kittel and his face is on fire. His face is bright. His face is lit up. He couldn't look at the shver. It's like Moshe Sofer, the Chassam Sofer was like Moshe Rabbeinu come down from Har Sinai. So I don't know what the Chassam Sofer did to prepare for the seder, but we're all striving for that. I have, maybe the great Rosh Yeshiva have a seder always run smoothly and perfectly and inspirational. The Brisker Rav says it's the hardest mitzvah of the year. So we try our best, and I try just as much as everybody else. But I don't know, little things. Again, I'm always trying to look for different ideas. Again, depending on the ages of the kids. Now my kids range from mid-20s to 10 and all in between. And so the different challenges, but for sure, giving thought, very practical thought beforehand, besides during, even the little things as seating arrangements, who sits where at the seder. That has to be thought out. I don't sit in my regular spot. Usually I'm at the head of the table with everybody around. I sit in the middle. I sit in the middle of the table at the seder. Dafka, I think, is the only time of year, so I could be more in the center, having more kids sitting around. So again, thinking who would be good next to which person. Obviously, setting the table beforehand. Obviously, involving as many people as one can, and it depends. Every seder is different. Last year's seder was different depending on which guests you have, and if you have guests. But again, preparing as much as can. Again, we generally, again, I don't know if you're gonna ask about this in terms of how we say it in Divrei Torah and how it goes, but the more thought you give beforehand and helping the kids prepare. Just while we're on the topic, again, I don't know if there's a separate question. Always, especially the younger kids, I always try to help them prepare a game before to work out. One year one of them did headbands. One of them, the thing you put the thing.
Yeah. Everyone has to guess if I'm a monkey, or
everybody else has to guess what's on their forehead. Right, whatever it is, just games to try to make it fun for them. After I often feel that, again, maybe as many Rabbanim out there, after spending tremendous, hopefully efforts on a Haggadah Shir and a Shabbos Haggadah Drasha, and you finally come to the Seder, you try to inspire everyone else, but the rabbi also has to try to be inspired. But it's really geared towards the family as much as I can. I talk at the Seder, but I don't really, I try to let everybody else as much talking as possible, and letting everybody be more involved and make it very experiential. It's not the shir. It's not we're not the five rabbis in Bnei Brak that are talking to Talmud Shachar, but we're a family, and as many try to make it as memorable and as enjoyable as possible. There are bumps and challenges along the way, depending on sibling rivalry and sibling regular. But you hope and prepare and try to psych everybody up as much as possible.
So that's fascinating. You say you you try to speak as little as possible, but on some level, I guess you're trying to orchestrate. You're the who's
Right.
in the orchestra.
Right. I don't try to prepare. I end up talking a lot at the seder, but it's not that that's my goal. And it's not that I personally don't prepare as much to say at the seder. I try to encourage everybody who's going to be at the seder. We try to give everybody to prepare at least one paragraph that they're going to talk about. So I guess everybody knows at least one time that they're going to have the floor.
And they know beforehand, like we get to Maaseh, that's me.
Beforehand.
Okay. And they own that. Is that also,
yes,
you mentioned?
It'll be their game. Meaning instead of a Dvar Torah, it'll be a game for them, whatever it is. And different, I look online. I try to find, Seder games. I try to find different, I'm not such a creative mind in that way, but different, props and going around the house, finding 20 different things in a bag. And you have to pick one out and say what it has to do with the Seder. Whatever it is, but just everybody knows that's another thing, that whether it's Talmidim, whoever is at the Seder, everybody knows that there's one paragraph that they're going to have the floor. And, at least so, not everybody say, oh, I have something to say about this. I have something to say about this. Again, maybe you talk to some of the kids and say what, there's time at the meal also to have Divrei Torah, but at least then everybody knows there's at one point that everybody's going to be listening to them.
So when you said like the littler kids, you have them do games, headbands, is that tied to a paragraph also? Or is that like you need for Shulchan Aruch? That's also tied to a paragraph. So you encourage them to do a game that's related to the theme of whatever paragraph they're...
Right. It could be loosely related depending on the age. You want them to have fun and prepare, whether it's, giving out candies to, they could give out candies to somebody who gets the questions right. Whatever it is, to be involved as much as possible, to experiential, do things that are memorable, that the kids know what's coming. Walking around by Avodah Mayinu and just certain things. One year I had a paro costume that I put on the head, and so you just try to make it fun as much as again, one has all adults at the seder. One doesn't have to get, maybe you can also. But,
I don't see why not.
Everybody loves, a number of years ago, actually, I heard it from a friend of mine that did this, but it wasn't so popular. About a year, actually, it was the year before Corona. So we had, shuls have scholars in residence in their shul. That's often sometimes. So in our shul,
we used to have that.
Right. In the days of traveling, yes. So we had Rabbi Akiva once, who was a scholar in residence in our shul. Rabbi Akiva. So I dressed up like Rabbi Akiva. What would Rabbi Akiva wear? I wore like a turban and a robe. And the Shabbos was Rabbi Akiva. So for Shabbos morning, I told my life story. You get 30 Gemaras about Rabbi Akiva, make it into a story form. I told my life story. In the afternoon, I spoke about the Torah of Rabbi Akiva, all the different chazals. But they love the dressing up. So adults also love dressing up. They love it's memorable. And like I could give 10 different shiurim, but like they'll remember what I looked like as Rabbi Akiva, right? So the people at the seder, it's an experiential, it's an experience as much as we can, and it's not always so simple. It has to be thought out. I can't say everything's always successful, but as much as one can make it happy and fun. And to remember, it's not about, and I've had Talmidim over at the, I usually have, some Talmidim over, those that stay in Israel and Eretz Yisrael for Pesach. This year, there's more that stay in Israel for Pesach. But try not to have, a few Talmidim, it's also very family oriented, but it's about the family. It's about everybody experiencing. It's not a shir. The Haggadah it's not a shir. It's just as much about the heart than about the mind. It's the excitement that one shows. It starts at the top. The parents are into it and are excited and are psyched for it. It spills over. If a parent is is more of let's just get this over with and let's just get up to the mitzvahs, and they didn't prepare as much and they're just exhausted from everything beforehand. So then one has to know exactly what the rest of the people are gonna feel. My children make fun of me. I kiss my matzahs before I eat them. What are you kissing the matzahs for? It's a chefza shel mitzvah. The Chassam Sofer says it's the only mitzvah daraisa of eating that we have is manazeh. The before you can kiss the esrog. Now people think it's funny, but what are you excited about? What are you we're trying? It's not just to create memories for the kids, but if you feel that you're excited to do mitzvos, sometimes you have to show that excitement.
They'll only get excited if you're excited. You have to show them.
Correct.
Daf, I think already last week, Abaye, when he's little and he's at Rava's seder, Rava pulls the table. Now we have this thing, people pull the TV tray and no one knows, not the TV tray. We pull the seder plate off and everyone says, why are you doing that? Oh, so that the children should ask. It seems like very self-referential. Well, they did, now what? But in the Gemara, it's almost a beautiful thing. He pulls the seder plate and Abaye says, why would you do that? And he says, Patatanu milishol manishtana, or Patatanu milomar manishtana, meaning like the whole point of manishtana, the whole point of like all the shtick is just to get, it doesn't matter what the question is, you have to get people asking questions. So how do you balance, like you're preparing your kids on the one hand, how do you give them also a sense of surprise and wonder and asking?
Right. So like I said, some of the games you try to prepare when there's time, sometimes I've done Jeopardy games. Sometimes, laid some questions at the beginning of the Seder, again, depending on the age. But they, always have giving out candies and taffies to the kids that could eat at that age. It's just for them. It's to keep them excited, to keep them inspired. Again, it's to get them to ask questions. Once the older kids are older and other people at the table, they're asking different kinds of questions. I think the younger kids they know what to expect somewhat. So it's more just keeping them interested, keeping them excited about for what's to come. Trying to get them not to fall asleep. And if they're, that also, if they could take a nap beforehand, that's also a mitzvah. Some poskim say that this year with Erev Pesach Shabbos, even though the Mishnah Berurah usually says you're not supposed to say, I'm sleeping now so I could be up on Motzei Shabbos, but that's a zilzul of Shabbos. So some say now it's a mitzvah. It's a tzorach mitzvah. So therefore one can't say that. But whatever one holds, it's a good idea to try to get some sleep beforehand. But it's a challenge. You can't say every parent, every grandparent knows. It's a challenge for the different ages. But again, like the more, to err on the side of fun and experiential and games. But sometimes the older people in the family they want more content also. But there will be time for content throughout. It has to be mixed, through letting them talk, obviously is something crucial. But again, different parts of the Seder have different memories. I mean, just I don't know if we're going to talk about this, but at least at our Seder, the singing after the meal is very special. We try to get the songs that are sung. It's again, there's some songs that everybody sings, Behisha Amda and others, but the second half after the meal, there's so many songs, and the more people that are into it, the greater experience it is. We go outside by Lashon Haba, we dance in the street. The neighbors are usually out a little before, a little after. So we usually have a, Corona-friendly circle the past year, but it also wakes everybody up. You go out into the night air, and some people don't want to come. You schlep them outside. We're dancing with the men, the women, everybody. Everybody should come outside and be revived and feel alive. And then you come back in, and it's not it shouldn't be rushed. Again, it shouldn't be dragged out. It's late, but it shouldn't be rushed. Again, chatzos is important. Chatzos, what we should usually try to, most years we make it. But again, there's different situations, and want us to try to make it the more people that are involved. Like I said, some people are singing family, some are not. So if somebody's not a singing family, one can't. It's more challenging. But as much as one could do, there are so many beautiful, all of Hallel and all the songs at the end, everybody together is really something very special.
People who are watching this now and are like biting their nails that I should have started the headbands, I should have ordered already 3 weeks ago. What am I thinking?
No, all of these things could be done in a day. Headbands. First of all, you go to the store. We have the old headbands game, so you make your own, and you don't even have to do that. You could just, figure
They actually
something.
use real
You
headbands.
get a hat. You get a hat, and you stick it in the thing of the hat. You pick up 10. Make 10 words. And some of them harder, some of them, easier. Or again, the makos. Obviously, we have these little all the makos. Everybody gets a mako. One of the puppets on their fingers, or actually, we have this bag of frogs of other things. So the more involved one could be, the better. And the mitzvos. One should be mechabev the mitzvos. When one is eating it, one shouldn't be, oh, the matzah, it's so heavy, so much. Okay, one could joke around, but just enjoy. We also try to have some type of special food at the meal. Last year my daughters made poppers. We had to have poppers. I was like, oh, amazing! I can't wait. So special food also, keeps kids excited about it, and in that way, just makes things special. And as much as one could do. Again, it's I'm telling you, every year you have to think about it more. What else? What could I add to this year? What could I do? What worked in the past? What didn't work? So we try our best. And siyata d'shmaya. To try to give everybody a good feeling. Everybody should make sure also when the kids go to sleep, all the adults involved should make sure to stay and clean up, and not to let it fall on one person at that time. No matter. I usually try. My father is a holy Jew, and I remember growing up, he always stayed up to say shiurim after the seder. I always try. I clean up. I finish everything. And after that, I'm done. I try to make it through shiurim. I say it's either shiurim or shachris. So I usually say the halacha overrides the minhag, and I usually go to sleep. But 1 year I'll get through shiurim. 1 year, just what I think I thought of it, just like Talmidim over at the Seder, it also gives an opportunity for a rebbe or for other parents to show what a family means, and to show how to relate to a wife and kids, and to show how the integration works, and allows Talmidim to see a rebbe in a different way, to see a rebbe as a father, to see a rebbe as a husband, which I think is important for Talmidim to see. Because Talmidim shouldn't only see their Rebbe as a teacher of Torah, but they should know that he's a husband, that he's a father. And that's also, if it's possible if one has single boys, girls over, and it's an opportunity to show, how a healthy relationship is conducted in a spiritual way. So that's also something that I think is a good take-home message, if one could give that to their guests.
So much more to ask and so much more to say, but I feel like we've all gained so much from these little pearls of wisdom. What is there one last pro tip that you want to share?
No chachmas. We try our best, but again, the more that we could think about it beforehand, the better. The more that we could do. Shabbos also. It's not just for the seder. Every Shabbos meal. There are so many Shabbos books out. There are the in Hebrew, the what if questions people like to do. The what if, whether the Harev knows in English, and you can do it in Hebrew. Now they have ones for kids also called Acha Sha'alti. You could do the Lamates Malachis book. There are so many things that we could use to bring to our Shabbos table. The parents somebody has to take some time beforehand, not to like come to the table and then start looking for a Dvar Torah, looking for something at the table, because that's already too late. One comes, and right after challah, one asks the question, or it's not just about the Shabbos sheets and the Shabbos questions that have to be asked by the child. One should do that. Maybe that's best not to do that at the table. Sometimes at the table, it depends on what the other kids are doing at that time. But it's the preparation is not just for the Seder. It's for the Seder, but it's for every Shabbos and Yontif meal. The more we prepare, the more, and regular Divrei Torah also. The more we prepare, the more we think about what would keep the kids interested. And I just say personally, some kids are more interested and some are less interested, and we try our best. But as much as we could do, the more we put into it, the more we have a chance of getting something out of it. And with Siyata D'Shmaya, we should all be able to have successful Shabbos meals, Yontif meals, and Baruch Hashem gives us many chances. And if one wasn't so successful, there's always another one. And in Chutz La'aretz, you have even more, right? But
we're blessed in Chutz La'aretz with so many makeup opportunities. That's
right.
The bracha of Galus. If one could say such a thing. Rabbi Rosner, thank you so much for your time. You should have a lichtig kosher, chayres Pesach.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much and continue your avodas hakodesh. Shkoyach.